to the members of the public and our town employees who had to hang out for a couple hours, our apologies. We had a lot on the agenda for the executive session. No votes were taken except to exit executive session. So we'll move on to the assessor's report, please.
Good evening. Back into, okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members, fellow members of the BTA. I'd like to present the assessor's report for September 2025. The Board of Assessment Appeals met on September 10th for motor vehicle appeals. There was 3 of them, and they changed none of them. I think that's a first. Yes, I think that's a first. Remember, this is the first time that we use the MSRP, and apparently nobody could argue that. Personal property forms, that's for all businesses here in the town of Greenwich, will be sent out next week. They will be due back on November 1st. Litigation settlement, you saw we have the Greenwich American settlement in there, and we have settled 3 more commercial cases, and hopefully I'll have those stipulations by the end of the month, and they'll be in my October report. As far as the revaluation for 2025, this is the most important thing. Values are being finalized, both the commercial and the residential for the most part. We've done the work. The way it's scheduled now is that Quality Data will be sending out informal notices, and those notices we plan on sending out November 7th. There is, on the month of November, December, and January, we have 2 weeks in November and December and 3 weeks set aside in January for informal hearings. When we send out the notice, we will also send out information, and I'll present all the notices and the increased notices to you next in the October meeting. But we have reserved all the rooms. We have the numbers and ready. We're ready to take, and any property owner wants to come in for an informal hearing, we'll have plenty of time in which to do that. Next month, I will present to you the sample letter of the increase notice that we're going to send out on November 7th. I believe we're going to do it similar to what we did back in 2015. We're going to give you your old assessment and your new assessment, and we're also going to look at what your taxes. We're going to make it so people won't have so much sticker shock. You'll have what you paid taxes last year, and then based upon your new assessment, what your taxes would be based upon last year's budget. So we will create those numbers for you, and we'll run by those as well. I would also like to consider, or have the BET consider, if necessary, to give my office an extension of 1 month if I need to use it. If I don't need to use it, I won't. I haven't for the last 2, but if by chance something does happen and we need that extra month, I will ask that you grant me that, and the the selectman just has to notify the Office of Policy and Management that an extension has been granted. I don't foresee any issue as for me not signing the grand list at the end of January like we usually do. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions? Karen?
No, I would just echo the last statement, just to have this board approve the possibility of an extension if needed. And again, we know that Lauren would be very judicious and probably not use it, but just to have it in her pocket.
Just in case. You know, it's Murphy's Law. If I have it, I won't need it. If I don't
Right.
have it, I will.
If I could just understand the timing, because you sign it the
End of January, right.
And there's a lot that has to happen between now and then, but you really wouldn't know whether you're going to need it or not, or you'll know more about it in December than you will
Right.
this month.
Right.
On whether, so there is a little time before it's.
Right. Right. I can always ask for it and just not use it. The Board of Assessment Appeals will still, if I sign the grand list in a timely fashion like I do at the end of January, the Board of Assessment Appeals will then have their deadline February 20th, as they normally do. They will probably ask for an additional month, which would give them the month of March and April to complete all their hearings. Like I said, I think we have done it the last two revaluations. We've had no issues when we've gotten it through on time. I think same thing this time.
Anybody else? Mr. Harkington?
So, Lauren, I noticed on your section on the building permits that, there is some growth, I guess, of the number of permits, but negligible for both residential and commercial. But the dollar amount of the building permits, both residential, commercial, is more than doubled if you're just looking at the months of July and August, our new our new fiscal year. Are you then expecting a much larger grand list for the following year with all of this additional building?
There's a couple of things happening. Yes, there's a lot of growth out there. We will capture some of that. We will capture a lot of it this year. But I also think that it's just indicative of the real estate market right now, too. We're just seeing increase in value, increase in the cost of redoing a house. Renovations have definitely gone up. Hard to know if we'll continue to see that over the next course of next year, but we are still seeing, we just had a $43 million sale in the backcountry. I mean, we're still seeing, and that was a brand-new house. 17,000 square foot house. So we are still seeing, it's funny because I don't know, 10 years ago, people were like, oh, they're not building big houses anymore. Well, yeah, they are. Yes.
Right, well, I mean, it seems like there could be a big average revaluation.
Yes, there will be. Yes, assessments are going up. Your grand list is going up considerably.
Yeah, it's going up considerably, right?
Mhm,
You gotta
yes.
Get people prepared for that.
Yes.
It's gonna be skewed, though, by these giant sales, right? Like the old joke, Bill Gates walks in the room and everybody's average is a billionaire, right? Because he walks in. If you've got a few sales at $43 million, that's gonna skew, your revaluation. So, are you finding it's a very big, uneven distribution? What are you seeing?
Actually, I am seeing, it's not necessarily, the percentage increase is not necessarily indicative of the large versus the small house. What matters is if it's new and it's been renovated. And whether it's $1 million house that's been renovated or it's a $40 million house that's been renovated, those are the houses that are getting price per square foot, are getting a much higher price per square foot. And that's what's making the difference in your real estate market right now.
But what happens to the people who live next door to the house that was renovated, and they're not renovated, but they get...
That's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
it's okay.
No,
they still get assessed
yes.
up.
No, not necessarily. We have a way, we have been doing this for the last couple of revals. We have a way of addressing homes that have been renovated, and it's based upon it's not built based upon just the year built. So if you could have two houses right next door to each other, they were both built in the 1920s, beautiful Tudor houses. One has been renovated and one has not. The one that's been renovated, that effective year, we have now changed to a more current year, which is the year in which it was renovated. So if somebody gutted their house in 2024, we are then going to make that house valued, that depreciation is going to be they're going to have very little depreciation. The house next door that hasn't been renovated or hasn't been touched much or has been just kept up somewhat will have a much different value on it because, and the depreciation schedules will reflect that. Sorry, Leslie. I'm sorry, I know.
How many years have you been out, Leslie?
Sorry, but
She just washed the windows, that's it.
Yeah. It
I've
makes a
often heard-
difference.
I've often heard the discussion from the assessors that well, the house down the street just sold for X amount, so therefore the value of your house is also going up.
Not necessarily.
I'm gonna make sure that if they come in and say that.
Yes. Now, I do understand this. I think I can safely say that since 2021, real estate values have gone up
But just, not nationally. I mean, in
everywhere,
Greenwich, sure.
everywhere.
Yeah, but
In my town, yeah, they have, and at the Cape. Not in California. Well, well, that's true. Yes, yeah. Well, it depends. So, but when we do a revaluation, I do think most people's values are gonna go up. They're gonna go up some. Some are gonna go up more than others. We do have the ability to make the distinction between houses that have been renovated, that have sold, and that's what's selling for that much more. So you could have a house right next to each other, and I'm sure I'm gonna get some criticism for this. You could have a house right next to each other, they went up 40%, and that person next door only went up 18%. That's gonna happen.
is this gonna be a record reval?
Well, this is my third, here. This is not as an increase that you had back in the 1990s when you used to do it once every 10 years, but it's probably going to be a record since 2000. Yeah,
In terms of the
And-
magnitude?
yep.
Charming.
That's why I'm gonna try to take the sticker shock out of it and say, this is what you were paying for taxes last year, and based upon that same budget, this is what you're going to be paying for taxes with your new assessment. So basically, if you kept the same budget, right, you didn't increase spending, it'll give people the ability to look and see that, and we did this in 2015, it kind of gives people, takes away their sticker shock.
I think you better have smelling salts here.
But I also think you should phrase it not if there is the same budget, this is what you will pay next year.
Yeah.
Just if this were your value last year, this
Right.
is what your
Yes,
taxes
right.
would have been.
Right.
There's a difference.
Right, and
It affects
But you're,
what we're
you're
doing.
gonna, you're gonna show us what you're gonna send out.
yes.
Okay, so
So
we'll have a
next-
chance to
yeah.
look at that in October.
Right, I will put it in
Okay.
my packet in October, in the October meeting. I think Leslie was you and Bill Finger, we created the verbiage last time, and certainly we can make some changes to it, but yes, in other words, we're trying to get people to understand that just because your assessment went up that much, that it's not necessarily mean that your taxes are going up 20%.
Anything to my left?
So I
Anything
move that,
further
no,
to
I was
the
going to
right?
move that we accept.
No more questions? Okay, I'll take a motion to accept.
I move that we accept the assessor's report.
Seconded by Mr. Alfano first, moved by Tarkington. Any objection to accepting? No objection, that's 11-0-0. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to go through the routine applications, requests for budget adjustments, hopefully as quick as I can. SE1, First Selectman, $12,500, a settlement of Pendergast versus the Town of Greenwich. SE4, First Selectman, $5,415.09, settlement of Rondano Doyle versus the Town of Greenwich. SE, what?
He did say how much.
Yes, I
Yes,
did.
you
I
did.
said 541509. SE5, First Selectman, $17,500, settlement of claim versus regarding 453 East Putnam Avenue. PD2, the Police Department, $20,000, approval to use drone software. PD3, Police, $18,074, approval to use personal protective equipment. PD4, Police, $85,685.46, approval to use 9/11 grant overtime. PD5, Police, $12,000, approval to use state asset forfeiture funds. FD1, Fire, $60,000, additional appropriation for vehicle replacement. FD2, Fire, $15,000, additional appropriation mold remediation, related to mold remediation at Coscow Firehouse. It's not the actual mold remediation. That was done elsewhere in the budget. HD1 Health, $34,903, approval to use a PHEP grant. So those are the routine items
I so move.
moved by Ms. Tarkington, seconded by Mr. Weisbrod. Is there any objection to unanimous consent? Seeing none, those are approved 11-0-0. Okay, we move to the non-routine applications. The first one is SE2, the first select 25,000 settlement of Pelgrift et al. Versus the town of Greenwich et al.
I move that.
Tarkington moves,
Second.
Moriarty seconds. Could we have a report of the law committee, please?
Yes, the law committee reviewed this case with the law department, and we are recommending settlement of $25,200.
Report of the budget
And
committee?
the Budget Committee also reviewed this proposed settlement with the town attorney and outside counsel and approved the settlement 400.
Is there any discussion? I think we should, non-routine, we usually do record votes. Mr. Alcheck?
So
We're just asking for your vote.
I'm a yes.
Mr. Deschamps?
Yes.
Ms. Aurora?
I'm sorry, this is SE3, are we on?
SE2.
SE2?
SE2, okay. Yes.
Ms. Fasciotis?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Tarkington?
Yes.
Ms. Moriarty?
Yes.
Mr. Weisbrod?
Yes.
Ms. Jansen?
Yes.
Mr. Kalb?
Yes.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
So that's 11-0-0. Next item is SE3, First Selectman, $27,000, settlement of Achucha versus the town of Greenwich. Could I have a motion, please?
I so move.
Second.
Karen Fasliotis seconds. Any discussion? Hearing
The
none.
law, the law.
Oh, I'm sorry, Law Committee.
passes, After discussion with the law committee, with the law department, and we approve this 200.
Budget Committee?
The Budget Committee also met with the town attorney and outside counsel and approved this settlement by a vote of 400.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote, please. Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mr. Kalb?
Yes.
Ms. Jansen?
Yes.
Mr. Weisbrod?
Yes.
Ms. Moriarty?
Yes.
Ms. Tarkington?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Fasliotis? Ms. Aurora?
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps?
Yes.
Mr. Alcheck?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 11-0-0. The next item is PW2, DPW $50,000, release of conditions related to the Hamel Rink facility. And we have Mr. Romano here as the head of building construction and maintenance.
So I so move.
And Ms. Tarkington moves
I'll second.
and Moriarty seconds.
So do you want to report?
Yeah, the report of the Budget Committee, please.
So the Budget Committee heard this request for release of conditions for the Hamel Rink facility. Mr. Romano was also visited with us, and he broke down the request by the costs and delineated that. I assume that you're going to talk about that. If not, I'll just read through what they are, or what would you like?
Oh, you can go right ahead.
Okay, so it was broken down to building cost estimate of $12,000, site cost estimate of $6,000, parking garage estimate $5,000, temporary sprink estimate $3,000, and phase two environmental $3,000, totaling $50,000. And it was the release of conditions for them to review 4 separate sites: the Moorland Park built in place, Moorland Park new location, Horse Neck parking lot, and Island Beach parking lot. And the vote on this item was to recommend release of conditions. Vote was 400.
Any other committee take it up? Okay, Mr. Romano, do you have any remarks you'd like to make?
I'm just happy to answer any questions. We presented that plan as a breakdown in collaboration with the task force to further that goal of picking the final site to be recommended. So we're asking for these funds to be released, according to that condition being satisfied, to move this project forward. Thank you.
Mr. Deschamps is the head of that committee. Do you have any discussion points you'd like to make?
I mean, I think the only thing that would be beneficial to the body is that this release of condition request has been put forward unanimously by the entire task force and is necessary for us to continue our work. One of the most important elements of deciding where to put the rink is the cost component. I think the people on the finance committee can appreciate that very much. We are going to have a difficult time making a final site recommendation without getting some preliminary cost estimates and a phase one environmental study done on the sites that we've narrowed down our work to, and look forward to having your support. Thank you.
Any discussion or questions? Yes, Ms. Jensen.
Yes, I had sent my colleague, the chair of the task force, a series of questions, and I did not see a response to those questions. And they really relate to the data that would drive the decision to some of these cost estimates that you're going to be receiving. And so, first and foremost, I wanted to see if there was any response to the questions I posed.
So I did see your email later today when I was back in the office. I was out of the office, out of town hall this morning, but I saw your email a little later. I was able to print off some of the recent information. I have a packet I can give each of you if you'd like for, I believe, your second request for the skating times and the revenues, funds, et cetera, from what was supplied by Joe Siciliano in Parks and Rec. And we can certainly provide some further input as the task force continues at work as in regards to the other questions you had for site selection, et cetera.
Okay. Well, I guess for me, with the temporary ice rink, do you believe the information that you've gathered here will inform you on that temporary ice rink? Because really what drives it is the need from particular programs, hopefully the Greenwich High School hockey, the public town hockey. We now have the Old Greenwich Stanford Wings facility that addresses some of this ice time, and I just was looking for an update. And again, I do want to emphasize that I'm very supportive of the renovation of the ice rink, but I do think that this question of the need for the secondary ice needs data to justify just how much and how many hours and what's the cost. So the questions I have are, first and foremost, is an update on the availability and cost of ice time at alternate locations. And the spreadsheet that was handed out in 2022 just was sparse, had no contact information, no data, and it really needed to be updated. And it was described in the task force that in phase one, historical data would be updated. So that was, so I'm happy to read later here this information, but I do think that information would inform some of this cost estimates that you're receiving. But more importantly is the Byram Neighborhood Association had a meeting recently where you unveiled a Flip 2 presentation. We've all know about the Flip 1. You received a municipal improvement with that one. It went to the RTM. It was rejected by the RTM. So it looks like you've created a new design that was unveiled a week ago. Really, the public really hasn't seen this. The BET hasn't seen this. The RTM hasn't seen this new Flip. And more importantly, it isn't in the cost estimate, this new Flip design. So did the old Flip design die? The one that you have the old MI approval? Is that gone?
So with the concept that was presented to the BNA last Tuesday, 1 week earlier from today, that concept was developed in conjunction with BNA membership they brought some comments to us and thought that they might have a way to kind of see some things on the site that they were interested in as far as rearranging. So we developed that site in coordination with them, and then went to the BNA meeting at that time to just gather more community input. We're very interested in what the Byram community has to say, especially at that location, since it's in their neighborhood. And it was a means to see if there was a change or modification that could be made to get better buy-in or more of a community acceptance on a potential layout configuration. I think the intent is to pick one option and then move forward with one estimate there.
Okay, so when you receive a site estimate, you have 4,
It would be for one flip variant.
so it will be deciding between now and when you send out a cost estimate
That'd be accurate.
on the site design. Okay, so the decision for which design will be by, who's involved in that decision as to what is the ultimate design then for
I think that
the
needs to be
flip?
taken up amongst the task force and furthered. And then in regards to which flip variant is finally decided, with the amount of site work and developed that would go into that parcel, the building is being priced as the facility. You have the site improvements at that parcel, such as the ball field, the parking lot, et cetera.
Yeah.
Those are pretty similar in kind, whether they're at location A or location B. Regarding their configuration on the parcel itself, we would expect those to be relatively close in proximity, at least for the magnitude of this conceptual estimate.
Okay. In terms of the sequence then, are you envisioning that the ball field would be renovated at the same time as the ice rink, the new ice rink location?
I think that hinges on the final configuration, and then it'd have to be scheduled appropriately to accommodate. I can't really
I'm
speak.
sorry, it depends on what?
It would depend on the final configuration of the parcel. I think the scheduling may change depending on what is located where.
Okay. Because then we have ball field users who now do not have their ball field. So we're worrying about ice time, but we also have a ball field to think about. Okay, so what I hear is that the new ball field, park field, the parking lot, the new entrance from Western Junior Highway and walking paths, you will have costs, and it will be for either flip 1 or flip 2.
So they would be similar in kind.
And you are going to be detailing the costs related to those associated, because they're kind of dependencies. Where the community is being sold and presented an exciting project that is for this particular location, Eugene Morlot Park. So at least to understand what we're getting into financially, as well as what kind of site changes have to occur for this, you will be presenting in this cost estimate deliverable with the 50,000.
Yeah, so when we go to get the cost estimate for the estimations for these different site options, the site options is what we're calling out as the estimate to provide the cost estimation, excuse me saying estimate so many times, for how much the actual development on each site would potentially cost. So amongst the task force, we would be deliberating on what that would go as forward as part of the narrative to go to the estimator.
Okay. I think it's a little premature to ask for this 50,000, quite honestly. I certainly think for myself, I would like to see what is the need for ice time, and for once and for all, have that data prior to then looking at these different components. So that's just my personal
But
point.
just, we have that data, the task force had that data at our earliest stages of work. It's in the minutes, it's available. I would also just say to my colleagues, we've been working now for months, 23 meetings all told. We've had 9 members participate in 2-hour-long meetings on a weekly basis. It's probably the most transparent and hardworking task force the town's ever seen. I would invite any members here who have questions to email me directly. You don't have to use the feedback form that the public uses. The information that you requested, I got that late today. You sent that late today. And it's good questions to ask. You're right to ask for that information. We'll make sure you get it. But we have it for the what is it, 22, 23, 24, 25. Rink user data. We had all the rink users in to meet with us to talk about their needs and requirements at the earliest stages. We met with all the RTM chairs as well at the earliest stages of our work to better understand the requirements and the needs of the town for the rink. All that available information is on our website. It's all been posted. A few pieces have not, and you're right to say that they haven't because some of the work was not work product of the task force, and we wanted to make sure that it was accurate before we put it out. But if there's information that you need that you feel would be useful, it's an open invitation to any member of the BET to reach out to me personally or any member of the task force, and we'll make sure we get it for you.
Excuse me, Ms. Moriarty.
I'd just like to make a little bit of a comment on process in the sense that this is a large project for the town. It's been subject to discussion for, I don't know, dozen years, 20 years, but more recently, it's gotten more serious. But really, this particular request for $50,000 is to be able to create the data that the BET would use first for the proponent of the project to be coming through Parks and Rec and the first selectman to make a proposal to us in the budget of what they want for the ice rink and what the timing would be and the scope. And so I see this $50,000 actually being very important to release now to keep this project moving forward, to give all those entities, the task force, as well as the managers and the users, the information available to be able to help assess what the right solution might be. And there are going to be different points of view on that, but this particular piece of information is hard data, construction costs, impacts on sites, which is not necessarily subject to, they need an outside consultant. And so that's why I think this data, if we really want the ice rink, then we should be releasing this $50,000 in order to permit the people working on the project to be able to move forward.
Mr. Alfano?
How did we get the $50,000 number? Where'd it come from?
It's in the budget.
I understand that, but is that a firm number?
It was conditioned in the budget last budget cycle, and we gave you the breakdown of how the $50,000 is going to be spent.
Guess what I'm asking, is that really enough?
We feel so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Weisbrod?
I was just going to call the question, see if we can.
Anybody else have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, Ms.
I do
Jansen.
want to comment that sometimes this feels like the cart is before the horse. And to only last week hear that there is a brand-new design for the flip, and it's dramatically different, it is not comfortable. And now we're going to move to this next step, and I hope that the task force and the public and B&A and all the constituents and stakeholders involved are embracing this new flip too, because it really is. And it sounded from the B&A feedback that they felt there was short shrift on the other details and design and sketches on the other locations. And so, again, there's, for me, not enough data going into this. Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Kalb?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'd look, with all due respect to my colleague who's asking very good questions and wants to get more information, and I think that that's important. I do think that we will have ample time in the future. And I'm sure you can take these questions back to the committee and you can do some detailed work and you can respond, I'm sure, in writing, or the committee. I know the chair would consider that. But I think, in my mind, this is going to be a huge project. There's going to be an enormous amount of money that's going to be invested. The town overwhelmingly is interested in seeing results and progress. This has taken a long time. So in my view, stepping forward with a a relatively small amount of $50,000 so that the committee can continue its work and sort of get the job done, at least get us to the next phase, I think it makes a lot of sense. So my view is let's move ahead with this at this stage, and we'll come back with more detail. I mean, certainly you guys have been putting in the work, so I don't think anybody doubts that.
I appreciate that. And actually, just for just a second, I want to thank the task force while I have an opportunity to do that publicly. These are volunteers who are committed to this effort, representing every major constituency of the town, the RTM, the ADA, the veterans, the First Selectman's office. Really appreciate the work that they've all done. It has been a tremendous commitment over a long period of time, and this money is necessary for us to make an important decision on final site recommendations. I'll repeat that. And we need numbers to do that. And again, this is the finance board. This is not cart before the horse. This is probably, if anything, a little behind schedule in terms of where we'd like to be, so we can get some good numbers around what this rink's actually going to cost us. And so this body can make a more informed decision, but more importantly, the task force can make a final site recommendation, because there are going to be some significant pricing differences between the site locations, and the environmental impact study is important for us as well. Thank you.
Mr. Olchek, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say, every day we delay costs us money. Every day that we delay, inflation's only rising, and it's costing us more money. As Mrs. Moriarty indicated, we've been kicking this around for over a decade, and we had a roadblock last year. Okay. The first selectman appointed in conjunction with you, Mr. Fisher, Matt, to head the building committee. We've made a lot of progress in a short period of time. We have momentum. Now's the time to move this forward.
Ms. Falsiotis?
I just want to also clarify, though, the delay has been beneficial in that we've had neighborhood input. The neighborhood obviously did not like the designs that were being forwarded. It wasn't the BET that really fostered this delay. It was delay by the community as well. So, again, everything gets done in its own time in this town. But the public discourse and the public discussion has made the process a better one, because now we are listening to the input of the community. Thank you very much. And I think that that's very important going forward. So, I, for one, also would have liked to have seen, what the new design was, but I'm going to actually be voting for this, because I think it is important to get information so that this body can then make a decision going forward as to, the costs, et cetera.
Anybody else? Okay.
I was just going to say that if there is information that is going to Ms. Jansen, if it could just be shared with all of us.
Of course. Okay, we'll take a record vote, starting with Mr. Olchek.
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps.
Yes.
Ms. Aurora.
Yes.
Ms. Falsiotis.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Tarkington.
Yes.
Ms. Moriarty.
Yes.
Mr. Weisbrod.
Yes.
Ms. Jansen.
No.
Mr. Cal.
Yes.
Mr. Alfano.
Yes.
Okay, that's 10-1-0. Excuse me. That moves us to the controller's report.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, you want me to hand these out? These are the pamphlets that I printed. I'll follow a
I
cop-
suggest we send it by electronic to all the members. Of
PDF
yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
By electronic.
Very good,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and BET members. I'd like to present my controller's report for September.
Rather than our staff will be here through the end anyway.
I've been asked to hold up.
Oh, yeah, actually, this is a good suggestion, if you don't mind, that we move Sarah up, who's been hanging for a while, since the rest of the staff is going to be here. So we're going to take a There's no objection, we'll take up item 11.
Was there anything on this? Yeah, what is the story on this?
So
Is there
just-
any materials on this?
Just to, I think to make this official, I have to
Just
make
the
a
update.
motion, I have to make a motion to move up new business to before the controller's report.
Second that.
Okay, is there any objection to that?
No.
Okay, so if you would introduce yourself and for everybody's benefit, this is an update on something that we've heard about before. So we asked for the update, we're getting the update.
That's right. Hi, everyone. Good night, good evening. Long day. Sarah Cocaro, Assistant Director of Environmental Affairs, and thank you for letting me go. Hope you all had a nice summer, nice August break. So this is, yes, the quarterly update in-person report that you'd asked for. It's been a busy spring and summer for this FEMA grant. The day after our May meeting, we had a site visit with the state and FEMA to look at both properties. The projects were moving they were moving forward at a good clip. We were in communications with each of the permitting departments of the town. So one of the concerns that was raised back in January was ensuring that dialogue in town hall was strong and consistent, and we had been doing monthly check-ins with all of the permitting departments, as well as having notices in our Municity database for when each of the properties would come up to get a building permit, a planning and zoning, a wetlands permit. And I'll say that that worked very well, and I'll get to that in a second. But there was a quarterly report that was due June 30th. That's been submitted, received, and confirmed by the state. So the two properties, we have one on Apple Tree Lane. It was found during one of these communications with the town departments, and I want to give credit to Stephen Formica, who's with the Zoning Enforcement Office. He wanted to confirm the plans that were being reviewed for a building permit. And he came to me and said, these don't look right. They don't look like just a home elevation project. So we reviewed them. We talked with the homeowners. We talked with the state. The project had expanded, and we told him, we checked with the state. We said, this is not covered under the grant. You have to go back to what you've been approved for. We met with the law department, and the law department supported us in this conversation, and ultimately the homeowners withdrew their applications. So we are down to one now. But I do want to give Mr. Formica credit there. Northway, the other project, has progressed through ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and he's also gotten a coastal area management permit, CAM. Those have taken a little bit longer because it's permitting and sometimes there are things that come up. But we've reviewed them every step of the way, and they are consistent with what he's been approved for. In July and August, I submitted information to the state, that's DEMIS, that's the state agency, to request an extension. So Northway's grant was going to go until April of '26, which is a very short time. And so we've applied with the state. The state has taken all our information and sent it to FEMA to ask for a 12-month extension, which would go until April of 2027. We have not heard if we got that yet. But no reimbursements have been made to date. So at this point, business as usual with just one now. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Mr.
No,
Weisbrot?
I'm just, I have to just say the extent of the work that you've been engaged with on this is very high. It's not usually that much, is it?
It did not seem this way when I was closing out the Sandy
Yeah.
permits. This is a lot more.
Right. It may, as we go through the budget process, we may want to think through this. Is this really too much of a burden on the town and on your team?
Well, I am still waiting to hear back from FEMA on if our management grant was awarded. So even though this has been 9 months into getting this grant, FEMA has not told us if we've gotten even the management grant, which would cover 5% of the total cost. So it wasn't, I've probably worked more than what that grant was for on this. but FEMA there's some issues at FEMA.
Yeah, I mean, it really, not for tonight, but for down the road, really calls into question the cost benefit of this in terms of the time that you and your colleagues have to devote. It's not sensible at this point.
I even reached out to Westcog because I think if you remember in one of our earlier conversations, they had been promoting these programs, and I said, we need help. This is a lot, and they're willing to do a little bit, but they obviously have bills to pay too. So it was, yeah.
Anybody else?
I
Ms.
was actually
Fasciolis?
going to follow up on that. Have you been tracking your time as to how much time you've spent, so that we would know?
Yeah, I can
for
give you an
future
estimate on
budgets?
that.
Okay.
Ms. Moriarty?
You probably answered this question at the time we talked about the grants originally, but is there an opportunity upfront to get reimbursement or cost fees from the homeowner to compensate the town, maybe for future arrangements?
The way that the FEMA program is structured, there's not an
No,
ability.
it's all just reimbursement.
And this particular homeowner, obviously, they completely changed the plan that they had originally submitted, and then, it caused the additional stress and burden, and that's not the way that things should work. It's not fair to you and your colleagues. Thank you.
So talking about I'd have a suggestion just to consider in the future. I know we asked for quarterly updates. I'm wondering if we can think about modifying it where maybe you supply a quarterly just written update in advance of our meeting, and if there are questions, then ask you to attend so we don't waste as much of your time.
We're not party to even more of a burden on you.
Well, I don't remember who requested the quarterly updates, but I think that's fine.
I was the one who requested the quarterly updates, and for good reason, because we're learning things that we just didn't know. But I completely agree with my colleague to the left.
If you think that's a positive change, so.
Yeah, we would accept a written update prior to the December meeting to include in the packet, and if need be, we'll get questions to you.
But we'd like to have her back if she wants to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you especially for your patience with the long process.
Good night.
Okay, back to item 5, the Comptroller's Report.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I did want to say, this is Brendan Mitchick from our Finance Department here on his own time, okay? As a resident and an interest in
So
what we do.
he picked the wrong meeting, is what you're saying.
I'd like to present the Comptroller's Report for September. You all have it, so I won't go through everything since it's due to timing, and feel free to ask me to go more or less. General fund invested cash on August 31st, 2025 was $260.7 million, about $16.2 million higher than August 31st of +24. Interest earned on general fund bank deposits and investments year-to-date, so 2 months, it was $1.78 million, reflecting a 4.4% blended annualized rate. Preliminary work is well underway for the external audit of the town's fiscal '25 financial statements. After considering July and August cash disbursements and receipts and allocating amounts back to fiscal '25 where appropriate, we now estimate a general fund surplus of approximately $2.1 million before deducting the Board of Education non-lapsing amount of $2.5 million. So we're now at an estimate of $400,000 deficit for fiscal '25. That could still change with audit adjustments. As of today, I did get the retirement portfolio snapshot. So we do have August. The return for August was 1.71% for the total portfolio versus the benchmark of 1.64. The fiscal year to date was 1.79, which calls into question how July was such a low return. So there must have been something wrong in that initial July snapshot. So the year to date return in the retirement portfolio is 1.79, and we'll figure out what happened with July. OPEB trust portfolio market value hit the $60 million mark in August, ending with a balance of $60.4 million, up $1.2 million for the month of August, or 2.03%. The annual audit, as I said, was kicked off. We had a kickoff meeting with representatives from Greenwich Public Schools, from town payroll, and of course, our whole finance team. The RSM audit team will be on site for field work from October 6th through November 14th, and we're hoping to get everything done during that time. Quick internal audit update. The Commission on Aging audit was accepted by unanimous vote of the audit committee at their meeting on September 11th. The Health Department audit has been completed. The report was presented, and there were some comments that you can read about. Let me know if any questions. The final audit of Phase 4 will be DPW, Sewer Division, Private Septic Haulers audit. American Rescue, the ARP cash balance is down to $5.9 million as of August 31st, 2025. In risk management, one thing that, I don't know if you all knew Joe Lasella, who was here earlier. He's an employee of GEMS, and we contract him. And the governor's annual emergency preparedness and planning initiative exercise was held on September 9th, 25, and Joe Lucella coordinated. All the town's emergency management people were present for a drill, and the drill was put on by the state, and so they actually were pretending it was happening. It was very interesting, and Joe did an excellent job. So I just wanted to mention that we had all the fire, police, Red Cross, and other various volunteers were involved in that. So it was quite impressive. I go through a few projects in the report. Again, I'm not going to go through them in detail right now, but we have quite a few initiatives that we're working on. And in the other final category, I just wanted to mention that the Deputy Comptroller position is posted. The search is in process and progressing. And last and most importantly, Roland Geiger, our budget director for the past 30 years, announced his retirement to be effective September 30th, 2025. Roland's impact has been nothing short of remarkable. His wisdom, thoughtfulness, and unparalleled institutional knowledge have been the backbone of the finance department for decades, as he guided the town through countless challenges and with precision and care. The legacy of his contributions will continue to shape the town's future for years to come. Roland will continue in a part-time role, assisting Agnes Kawai in the transition. We are so fortunate to have him here for 30 years and then staying with us. So no worries.
Can we clap or anything?
I'd like to suggest a standing ovation. Yes.
Speech?
Wait. Before you do a speech, I had some words and I would like to read them, please. This meeting is bittersweet because we will be turning a page with your well-deserved retirement after 3 decades of unwavering dedication as budget director. For 30 years, Roland, you have been the quiet architect behind the scenes, helping to shape the financial foundation that allows Greenwich to thrive. Today, on behalf of all who call Greenwich home, I want to thank you, not just for your expertise, but for your integrity and your quiet resilience that have defined your remarkable career. Imagine, if you will, the Greenwich of 1995 when you first stepped into this role. The world was on the cusp of the internet age. Our town was navigating economic shifts, and you were there meticulously helping to craft budgets that balance ambition with prudence. Over the years, you've guided us through booms and challenges alike, from the dot-com bubble to the Great Recession, from the uncertainties of the COVID-19 pandemic to the recent inflationary pressures that have tested every fiscal decision. Time again, your steady hand was there to guide this board. You approached every task with a commitment to fairness and transparency and patience. Through it all, Roland, you've been a model of public service. As the Board of Estimate and Taxation approved budgets year after year, your collaboration with our comptroller, committee chairs, town departments, and town leaders ensured that every dollar this board allocated with the taxpayers' trust in mind. Now, as you prepare to hand the reins to Agnes Cowie, we know the town is in capable hands thanks to the legacy you've built, but Greenwich won't be the same without your calm presence at our BET meetings, your data-driven information, and your unyielding dedication to doing what's right. You've not only managed budgets, you've helped this BET invest in our future. Roland Geiger, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for 30 years of service that has made Greenwich stronger, fairer, and more resilient. Enjoy your retirement. You've earned every moment of it. We wish you health, happiness, and many sunsets wherever your next adventure will take you.
Well said.
Very well said.
I can't believe it's been 30 years. I mean, it's almost surreal. And I think of, in that 30 years, all the coworkers. I think of all the coworkers that have come and gone, and all the BET members that have come and gone, and I just think of all the memories that I have, and the memories have all been good. If it wouldn't be good ones, I wouldn't have been here for 30 years. So thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. We need to accept the comptroller's report.
I move that we accept the controller's report.
Have a second? Second. Who seconded? Scott?
David and me, you pick.
I'll pick,
I have a question, I'll take it offline.
okay. Is there any objection to accepting the comptroller's report? Seeing none, that's adopted 1100. Could you give the treasurer's report, please?
Yes, so you have the treasurer's report in front of you as well, and you see the general fund balance at, my eyes are blurry because it's so late, 260.7 million, as I just mentioned. Appreciation for the 2 months, 1.78 million. In the B fund capital projects, spending of 16.3 million. Obviously, some are spending with some of that, but that's a good thing. The total before OPEB was 382 million, and if you include OPEB, 442.5 million. Any questions?
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
I second it.
David Weisbrot moves, Mr. Tarkington seconds. Any objection to accepting the treasurer's report? Seeing none, that's 1100.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. With item 9 comes up, excuse my voice. CMS is progressing very well. There are a couple of things that worry us on the horizon. One is I'm going to have a discussion with the fire department because the fire marshal, after signing off on the plans,
I remember that.
I'm sorry?
She said, welcome to a building committee.
Oh, yeah.
That has happened before.
He has now asked for a change in the fire alarm system that could cost an extra $1 million. And it's not required by state code. I have 2 problems with it. One is, this is not the way to conduct business, to sign off on a plan and then ask for a change. I think that has to be, called out. And the other is, the financial impact is serious. So Mr. Weisbrot and I, as liaisons to the fire department, have a meeting on Wednesday, I guess it is, of next week. So it's going to be a topic of discussion. Otherwise, everything is on time and on budget. Very few glitches. They put thinner insulation on the foundation than they should have, but it's still within a standard of insulation for the building, and we're going to get a credit back for that. The most amazing thing was they delivered on one day 2 85-foot long steel beams. And you think about the roads around Central Middle School, to get 2 85-foot long beams into that site was
The ribbon.
quite a feat.
Ribbons.
So those are the beams for the gymnasium. There's a RTM report that'll come out next week, and I'll make sure to forward that to everybody on the board. We have a written report from Mr. Selps. I got notified late this afternoon or actually not late this afternoon, earlier in the day, but I was quite busy, so I didn't see it, that he was unable to make the meeting tonight. I've heard there are some questions. I did try to get Mr. Waters. Thank you. I tried to get Mr. Waters, only got his voicemail. So we'll have to wait on a further report, but that project is being put out to rebid. So I think we'll have much better information as that process transpires.
I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Jansen?
So I've been looking forward to this meeting to have a dialogue because the report that was given in July is really still missing material information. First and foremost is there's talk of a cost overrun, and we don't know how much. Can we get an absolute dollar number or a percentage number of just how much are we looking at that this has been suspended? This is a really heartbreaking situation that is impacted. It was also attributed to tariffs, potential tariffs impacting the costs, and I was wondering what other town and Board of Ed projects have had costs, potential tariff costs impacting their project. So I'd like to start with those two areas. And if it can't be answered here today, then perhaps in the future, we could get this as the finance board. I will go on with my other questions if you do not have an answer to those.
As far as the tariff question, CMS was not impacted because we took bids before that kerfuffle happened. As far as the overage, I don't know it on Old Greenwich, but I know that they've done a lot of value engineering. They've restructured the plans, how they would execute the plans. And that's why they're putting it out to rebid it, to see if they could have it come in within budget. So
how much over budget
I don't
are
know.
we? We
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
We don't have a percentage, we don't have an absolute number, we have nothing.
No, but that's not relevant anymore because it's going out to bid again.
It is relevant because it would be interesting and perhaps telling for the next round. So it is a question.
If I could, there may be many questions, and there will be many questions. But in light of the time and the fact that Mr. Selps, who's our liaison, is not in attendance, I don't think we're going to get answers right now. So the questions, you may want to circulate an email to the rest of us, but none of us are really going to be able to give you a detailed rundown, I don't believe. So.
Okay, let me continue then. July 14, 2025, there was a list of 20 items before receiving a formal building permit. So the question is, has a formal building permit been issued for those 20?
I don't think we're going to be able to answer any of your questions, Ms. Jansen.
Okay. In terms of this $9.6 million state grant, what impact, if any, is there to that state grant?
Your questions are great. I think
And the timeline, it is indicating,
Right.
and again, it's the timeline that was presented to the RTM, but not the BET, that now during the school year, March 2026 is when the project initiates.
So
No, that has not been said.
Okay, so I will follow up. I did present the very much interest to have a dialogue on this project, And so it's a tremendous surprise that we did not have a representative, either the liaison or a representative from the building committee itself. Thank you.
The logistics did not permit that. I can't ask any member of the building committee just to show up here. I can ask the chairman to show up, and I tried to reach him, but I'm not going to reach out to any member of the building committee as the chair of the BET and request presence. I just don't think that's the right way to conduct ourselves. Okay. There is no.
Can I just ask if Ms. Jansen has reached out to the chairman of the building committee directly with these questions?
I'm sorry, if I
you
reached out to
I just
whom?
would want to know, I was just curious if you've reached out directly to the chairman of the Old Greenwich School Building Committee directly with the questions that you've asked
I
your
went to
colleagues.
the chair of my caucus.
But, so the answer is no.
No, because there is a process on how we conduct ourselves in our caucus, and we usually go through our chair, who then takes it forward. So I had expressly asked for specific information.
Well, I asked because you came
So-
directly to me with the Hamel Rink task force question, so.
No, I did not. We had a time of the essence here where we were meeting tonight.
I think we can put this to bed. The only item left is approval of the meeting minutes of July 21st, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections or
Yeah,
anything
I
to the
just
minutes?
have one question, which I can take offline with you or raise it now.
What is it?
Well, in the chair's report, it stated that the Board of Ed is not adhering to the statute. I don't know that that's something, and it may be your opinion, if you want to put it in there, that in the opinion of the chair, that is you, the Board of Ed is not adhering, but I don't think that's an adjudicated fact. And frankly, it could even expose us to unnecessary attention and litigation. But if you want to put in the words that I, Harry Fisher, do not believe it's adhering, that's up to you. But the way it's written now, it's a statement of fact, and I don't think that's correct.
Well, it is correct.
Well, you may think it's correct, but I don't think it's correct.
Well, the labor contracts officer agrees with me.
Well, I
and
don't think
it's-
he's a lawyer either. So I think that that's the point I'm making.
All right, I'll accept a modification that says, in the opinion of the chair, the BOE is not adhering to the statute. Does that allay it?
That's fine. That's your opinion.
Okay. So with that modification, is there anything else? Any objection
So I'll
to?
move the minutes.
Oh, right, we need a motion
And I'll,
as
As
modified.
modified by
As-
David.
and I'll second as modified.
Any objection to adoption as modified?
No.
So that's 11-0-0. I think in the interest of a 9:30 3-hour meeting, I don't really have any remarks, except to remind people that our next meeting, because of the use of this room by the election folks, our meeting will be in the Cone Room in October. And otherwise, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Alfano, seconded by Mr. Weisbrod.
Thank you,
This is from Leslie.
Oh, thank you. We're adjourned at 9:32.